How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Devin the Bear. I also want to point out real quick before we get started, appreciate everybody that's some new listeners we've had coming in. I've gotten some feedback on it, and it's cool talking with people outside of the podcast about the combat sports world. So appreciate that. And so this past weekend was UFC 283, first card in Brazil since pretty much pre-pandemic, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's been a while since they had a Brazil card.
I don't remember what the last one was, but
That's how long it's been. We just don't remember.
Yeah. And so, but in MMA years, it's been like 15 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it was a solid ass card. It was great. And anytime the UFC goes to a different country, they stack it up with. They got a lot of people who are from that who are that nationality. And I mean, they always show out. It's always fun to watch. Brazil, whenever they have Brazilians fight on the card, England, whenever they have English people fight on the card, it's always fun. So this was another one of those. I feel like
I am not a fan of Brazilian fans.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Right. Trust me.
I was like, I don't want to show praise.
Yeah,
because it's every freaking time. But yeah, we'll get into that.
But no, I'm giving praise to the fighters. It's just
okay.
Yeah, I'm giving praise to the fighters. So yeah, man, it was a solid card. Prelims really showed out. We had the card started off really good with Daniel Marcos getting a knockout with a knee to the body and punches. Who else showed out, man? Jailton Almeida was the early prelim headliner, and he did exactly what I thought he was gonna do. He beat the shit out of Shamil. Like it was a good fight, back and forth. Jailton is a pretty small heavyweight considering what weight class he's fought in before, but he's definitely an up and coming prospect in that heavyweight division, dude. And I'm really looking forward to see what else he does after that.
Yep.
So
and I know the Bonfim brothers both won in their debut.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that fight. Yeah. Sorry.
And one of them starched Terrence McKinney,
Ismael,
which was rough to see as a Terrence McKinney fan, but you love to see flying knee knockouts. Who doesn't?
Dude, it was sturdy.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And as soon as McKinney started, he kind of showed signs that he was about to duck down. Like even I kind of caught on to it, and like I was just kind of like sitting on the edge of my seat, and I was like, and as soon as I saw him do it, I was like, there's going to be a flying knee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just, like if you were there, that would have been one of those moments. I'm like, dude, he's going to throw a flying knee and knock him out. He's going to duck down. And then it would have happened. It would have been one of those moments, which, believe it or not, listeners, that happens all the time. But yeah, it was really, really nice. Very clean. Both brothers got the win, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That knockout went viral quick, but it did. It was all over Instagram. As soon as you messaged it to me, like Terrence McKinney just got knocked out. I was like, well, I forgot exactly what you said, but something along those lines. But yeah, his brother Gabriel Bonfim, he got a guillotine in like the first minute
full
of the
mount
fight.
Guillotine.
Yeah. It's freaking awesome, dude. And then Thiago Moises, like you said, you want to see him pull off the win, and that's what he did.
And I wanted him to get a good finish because he was finishing people for a little bit, and then it just stopped, and then he got stopped, and he just had trouble coming back, and then stopped fighting for a while.
Yeah.
I don't remember why.
Then Bruno Ferreira knocked out my boy Gregory Rodriguez. I was really upset by that, but that fight was good though.
It was really good. Gregory looked sharp, but he was getting clipped, and I was like, man, that's not a good look. So I'm assuming eventually Gregory's going to shoot for a takedown, and he just kind of never did. At least I don't remember if he ever did. And what's funny is I could bring Ellie in here, and she will tell you that I was like, that left hand is landing for him whenever he throws it. And then he dropped him with the left hand, and I was like, boom, I freaking called it.
Dude, it was
that. Yes, listeners, that's one of those moments. It happens. I'm telling you, it happens all the freaking time. We call them.
It was rough, man, because he just dropped straight flat on his back, man. And I was like, holy shit.
And there were a few extra shots, weren't there?
There were, yeah, which is another fun conversation we're having today. But yeah, man, Gregory Rodriguez looked like Officer Alex Murphy in that one. Didn't look like RoboCop.
Oh, yeah, I was lost with that. Sorry.
So yeah, sorry.
I get it though. I get it.
You get it. I know you get it. Yes. But yeah, I think my friend Fake might get it.
It was switching or messing with the names when you're trying to say it. I was like, what are you? What?
But yeah, man, he looked like Alex Murphy right there, man. It was not looking like RoboCop at all. No. But so yeah, man. So the the prelim headliner with Ihor Potieria.
Potieria. You pronounce all the letters like good old American, which he's not, but that's the thing that I just said. It's just in Brazil, you don't pronounce them very often.
Right.
So when you see a name like that, you want to say it a certain way because we're so used to it, but you pronounce all the letters.
But he's not Brazilian, though.
No, he's he's not Polish. He's Ukrainian.
Okay,
He's Ukrainian.
That's right. And so he got a pretty like vicious TKO over Shogun Rua.
He was all over him.
Yeah.
And it was rough.
And I know it was Ariel Helwani spoke out about that. He's like, man, I'm tired of seeing these legends get fed to the up and comers. You know, and
I don't think that's what it is, because like, who else are they supposed to fight?
Exactly.
Like, Eeyore is not an up and comer. I'm sorry, but he's not. He's so new. He's had one fight in the UFC?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that. I don't agree with that sentiment there. But I do think that, bless you.
Thank you.
I do think that Eeyore got a lot of crap about his little celebration, which was this weird dance, and I was kind of commenting on it when I watched it because I didn't know what the heck it was. But everybody was calling him disrespectful and this and that. And then at the post-fight press conference, he got asked about it a lot. And so he's like, okay, let me show you. And he gets up and he does it again. And he like does a walkthrough and he's like, I'm a duelist. I duel with guns. This is what I like doing. So this dance is something that we do. It's just a dance you do. It's like a traditional kind of a thing. And he's like, and if you pay attention, I didn't shoot Shogun. I said no. And then I shot in the air out of respect. And then I went and looked back and I was like, oh, he did do that. Weird choice of a celebration, but I don't think he should be given any crap. And you know what? If he did, do the gesture of shooting Shogun, he won the fight.
Right.
He can celebrate. I don't know why people are acting like, oh, shame on him. I don't know if you saw many tweets from fighters and like anybody. They were just saying, shame on him. He shouldn't have done that. That's rude. That's disrespectful. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? At least he didn't freaking do a front flip off of someone's back.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He won the fight and then he celebrated. Leave him alone.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like whenever, what's his name? When Weidman did the lap after he broke Silva's leg, and everyone still calls it unclassy.
Yeah.
Saw how severe the injury was.
Because
like, okay, let me stop.
he didn't know.
Yeah.
He thought he hurt the leg and he won the fight. And then he went and saw that it was broken in half. And he's like, oh no, this isn't good.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah. Like it's with all that adrenaline, you just won a freaking fight.
Yeah.
And both guys just beat an absolute legend. And you're upset with them because they were excited? Sorry.
Yeah.
You think you need to get over yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's like whenever we see that in the U.S., like whenever somebody outside that's not from the U.S. beats somebody in the U.S., like they celebrate, like, it's like, yeah, it's just, you're hyped up. Like, we've even seen it when we go to the Fury fights. We see a really rough knockout and the guy's super hyped up and then he looks and sees how severe it was. And
yeah.
He just stops. He's like, oh shit, okay, let me not do that right now. Whenever you said that he was a duelist, like with guns and shit like that, it reminded me of that. You ever see that movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale?
Yeah. Matrix, but with gun. Not Matrix.
What they call it in the movie? They call it gun kata, but it's gun fu.
Yeah, there's a funny comparison. And I can't remember what it is, so never mind. Don't listen to me.
So we'll get back to that. So the main card though, I mean, it was as solid as can get. We had Johnny Walker, your boy, in the win column, defeat Paul
against
Craig.
my other boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about how I expected that fight to go. It was either going to go to the ground and Paul Craig was just going to run straight through Johnny Walker, even though Johnny Walker, he's Brazilian. But I think we both kind of figured Paul Craig was going to try to fight on the feet.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out for him because that's not his his home court there.
I don't know why I had expectations though with him standing up with him.
Oh,
like,
I did.
I did. I was like, you know what, man? Maybe he did find something with his stand up. Maybe he's like, you know what, this is where I gotta get the fight going, and then set up my takedown. And then he got knocked out when he caught a kick. He got dropped and then he got beat up. And so, yeah, man, that's really all there is. I feel like there is to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, good. Johnny Walker's looking like his old self again. He did he did the worm, which was good to see that back in action.
Yeah.
Just hopefully he doesn't, put himself out for another year
Knock
doing
his
it.
fucking shoulder out of place. Yeah. And so Jessica Andrade beat the absolute shit out of Lauren Murphy.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Murph.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. That was
a fight game.
It is. And I'm not trying to like throw any shade her way or disrespect her any type of way, but it was.
No, it sounded like you were, bro.
Probably was, man. So I was very passive aggressive about what I said. So about most things really. But yeah, like fucking, I don't know, dude. Like it was a very one-sided fight. The whole fight.
Andrade showed that she deserves to be in the top three.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shows Lauren Murphy either has to do a little bit of changing in her game or maybe start being okay with being just in the top 10. Because I think she'll always be top 10. I think she will retire in the top 10. But, you want to do more than that as a competitor.
Right.
And she's going to have to, I think she's going to have to change some things to become champion.
And I'm sure the people over at Main Street Boxing and Muay Thai, and also what's that? She trains at the Gracie Woodlands, and so I'm sure they're definitely gonna realize that. They know that, not realize it, but they know that, and they're gonna do what they can to fix whatever she needs to fix. But man, she was getting beat up, dude. Like people were calling the fight needed to be stopped, this and that. But Lauren Murphy's just, we talked about it before. She's a scrapper. She's not gonna sit there and want her corner to call in the fight. I think if that happened, she probably would be like, I need to find a new gym, because they, and it's understandable because they're fighters. It's what they do. They don't want to quit.
When we had that episode where we talked about it, should we normalize throwing in the towel? That's something that I mentioned was when you're the corner and you throw in the towel, that's something you do have to worry about is what if I piss off this fighter and they don't come back?
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's something you have to worry about. And at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you're looking out for their best interest, and that includes physical health, I understand. But there's a little bit of selfishness in there that's going to tell you, hey, you might lose a lot of money because this person kind of rides with you and you might need to stick with that.
Yeah. And so it's hard,
or not
man.
Jeopardize it. But I agree. I think it,
when you have a 30-20, when you have a 30-25 scorecard, it's like I don't really see an issue with throwing in the towel. You gotta live to fight another day and also take care of your health at the same time. Fighters will go out on their shield, they won't even hesitate. It's just,
and Lauren Murphy's definitely one of those fighters.
Yeah, and it's just like I applaud her for sticking in, doing the best that she could, but also it's just it's a conversation that could go on for hours, really, or not even hours, but just can go on for a while.
Yeah, like
we're never gonna have the actual answer.
We did a whole episode on it. I think we could definitely do another one. Maybe get a guest on if anybody's interested in having that conversation with us. Feel free to message us.
So maybe we could even talk with a coach about that, or talk with the fighter about that. Talk with maybe with a referee. I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, man. Gilbert Burns put on one hell of a show, defeating Neil Magny by arm triangle in the first round. I mean, he was all over Neil Magny from the start. Yeah. This was no what's it called? This was no back and forth fight. This was just all this is Gilbert Burns. Yeah. Sorry.
Which, I think I was kind of intrigued in how the fight was going to be on the feet because of Magny's reach and just how well he can kind of work off his back foot. But if it went to the ground, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting as well because it's going to be all Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
So I think one way or the other, it's going to be all one of the fighters. So it's whoever can keep it on the feet or to get it to the ground that's going to win this fight. And Gilbert Burns got it to the ground
quick, and it was it was all Gilbert Burns. Just he was able to be patient, go for the position that he wanted. Neil Magny did what he could. He also has good jiu-jitsu as well. But
he does, but when you go against Gilbert Burns,
there's jiu-jitsu and then there's world championship jiu-jitsu, and Gilbert Burns has a world championship caliber jiu-jitsu. I'm a big fan of Gilbert Burns. I definitely stopped questioning him, especially after the Hosma fight. Like I think a lot of people did. What was funny is that he was doing an interview and he said that his wife told him, "Don't get into another fight like the last one. I don't need to see you like that coming home like that. Like go take him to the ground and get it over with already." And then he also
he's capable of doing.
Yeah, and so he also reiterated the fact that his wife is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt as well. So he was like, "Yeah, man, I can't really play around whenever she tells me to do something. I have to do it." And happy wife, happy life, right? So, but yeah, man, it was a great performance on him. I don't know if he got performance of the night, but I sure hope he did though. But onto the co-main event, he had Brandon Moreno and defeat Davison Figueiredo by doctor stoppage in the third round. Yeah, it was third round, and it was a good fight though. It was all Brandon Moreno though. It was still back and forth, but Moreno was, in my opinion, took every round leading up to the championship rounds when the fight got stopped. And so it was just ended by a doctor stoppage. Figueiredo's eye swelled shut from a left hook from Brandon Moreno, and it was, I don't know, it sucked to see though, just because it's like, man, dude, like this is how we're getting the first ever quadrilogy in the UFC.
Yeah, the long-awaited quadrilogy fight that we thought was going to be Dustin and Connor.
Yeah.
We thought, it was going to be Chuck and Tito. We thought it was going to be Frankie and BJ. Just kidding. No one thought that. But yeah, it was really great. And it was a great performance by Brandon Moreno. And I agree that it sucks that it was a doctor stoppage, but that's a valid way to win a fight. We see it all the time, especially in boxing. You see a lot of doctor stoppages in boxing just because cuts get so bad. And no, you may not go out there and risk getting like brain trauma right then and there from every single punch, but that cut could just get worse and worse and worse, and you may not get knocked out, but if your face is falling off, you got to stop the fight.
Yeah.
And with his eye being swollen shut the way it was, like, he's not going to be able to see those punches coming. He cannot safely continue. That's what the doctor's there for. That's how Brandon Moreno wins the fight. They won't do a fifth fight.
No.
But boy, would it be great if they did.
If they did, yeah, for sure. But it's also really relieving to know that the division can now move on. The division's had the same two champions for the past couple since 2020.
Yeah.
So now we finally get to move on, and we get to see new contenders come up. Pantoja's being considered for the next title challenge. But did you see the left hook though that he landed? Like, everyone thought it was an eye poke at first because he closed up right before it hit and just happened to hit like the inside of his hand on his eyeball, and just swelled up immediately after. Yeah, man, it was. They tried to say it was an eye poke as well, but I mean, they watched the replay and stuff, and they saw that. And I think Deiveson Figueiredo will do much better at bantamweight. I think for a while, I felt like after the second fight, I felt like he should have moved up to bantamweight.
So, real quick, while we're on that, Brandon Moreno absolutely runs the flyweight division. He beats everybody. Davison's absolutely running the bantamweight division. Fifth fight for the bantamweight title.
If it calls for it, yeah, why not?
Let's go.
Or we could bring Demetrius Johnson back for a one fight thing. Have him fight Brandon Moreno.
He's not gonna do that.
No, he's not.
Making way too much money in one.
He's making a lot of money at one, and they're not gonna pay what he's worth. But yeah. So also though, since you had brought it up earlier at the beginning of the episode, was the Brazilian crowd.
Yes, they were not fans of Brandon
at all
beating Davison, and I will say he did, and I don't have a problem with this. He is proud of his heritage. That's wonderful for him. He went out there and said, what did he say? Viva la Mexico? Is that what he
probably?
Or he said something along those lines. That's his heritage. That's his ethnicity. That's where he's from. Yeah, he's going to say that. You know how, like, Brazilians cheer on Brazil when they fight in America?
Yeah.
That's what you do. He did it in Brazil and got showered with cups and bottles and trash. And the security had to, rush him out of the arena. It was pretty freaking sad.
And then they're chanting at him, Duval Moreira.
Which I don't think that's as bad as we make it out to be, because of what it translates to. It means, like, you're going to die, basically, or go die, or whatever.
It's Portuguese for "you're gonna die."
Yeah, but I think that's just a translation thing. Glover Teixeira even explained it before these fights. He's like, yeah, it's basically like our way of saying, you're gonna get knocked out. Like, that's what we're trying to say when we say that. And he's like, in the context of a combat sport, when you say that, that's what you mean. And he's like, I think it translates, to being something a little bit more harsh.
But Glover has class also.
Yeah, but don't blame language for things like that. Blame people who are buttholes.
And so,
and they show that they're buttholes when they throw things on people,
which is like really, really hard, man. Right? Because obviously, I'm like the whitest fucking person you could possibly meet, but surprisingly, I'm Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
So,
and
I'm. What's up?
I don't know. Never mind. Go on.
I don't know. I'm whitewashed. I know I am. So I think it would be really cool to see them go back to Mexico, because go sit there and have them headline a card in Mexico would be fantastic
against Deiveson Figueiredo.
But
let's just keep it going. Just do a fifth fight. You've done 4. Do a fifth one. Just do it.
I think Moreno would be more than happy for it. But
he would.
Even then, I would love to see them go back to Mexico, because they had their last Mexican card was in Mexico City.
Yeah.
But we saw how that went, and the same exact thing. Yair Rodriguez, their nation's fighter, goes out there and pokes Jeremy Stevens in the eye, and the first thing they do is they start throwing shit, and they start throwing, not actual shit, but start throwing cups and beer and like all this shit into the fucking into the octagon. And it's like, dude, like y'all, it's not okay. Like this is why people don't like these events do not happen there
Yeah.
because they y'all don't know, like y'all think that's okay to sit there and do that. I understand you're pissed at this, but be mad at Yair Rodriguez. Don't be mad at fucking at Jeremy Stevens because he can't open his eyes. And so I don't know if the UFC plans on going back to Mexico for another card, but I mean, I don't know, man. Just whenever fans act like that, it's hard to want to go back to that city. Like if we were in Houston and the people started booing and doing shit like that, and fucking riot incited,
It's
if I
embarrassing.
started breaking out, it's just like, why are we gonna go back there? Look what happened last time we went back there. So I don't know, man. Oh yeah, also Brian Ortega incited that whole fucking thing to throw stuff in the ring in the UFC Mexico card.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, he started telling all the people to start throwing shit in the ring, and they did. So yeah,
with Glover and Jamahal Hill, the headliner, there's a lot happened in the fight in terms of what Jamahal Hill did. Glover had his moments, but there's not a lot to say about it because it was just Jamahal Hill looking like Jamahal Hill Platinum version.
Dude.
He bought the battle pass.
He got
all the things. He got in touch with EA Sports and he told them to up his stats. Whatever it was, he looked really freaking good.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He looked so good that I think him and Yuri, when that fight happens, he could beat Yuri. If he looks the way he fought that night, Yuri doesn't do much because he's not as technically sound as Glover, and Glover couldn't get in on Jamahal Hill.
Yeah.
And Yuri needs to get in on people. Otherwise, he's throwing some random stuff, and Jamahal Hill's not going to let him do that. He's not going to give him the time for that.
Jamahal Hill is really good at placing his shots. Like, he's really, really good at it. When he puts something into a shot because he knows it's going to land. We've seen him knock out Johnny Walker with it. He just threw that mean-ass overhand right, and we saw how that went. But and then look at him and Jimmy Crute, when he knocked out Jimmy Crute, and it was a really it wasn't a one-sided fight, but you knew that Jamahal was winning the whole time.
Yeah.
It felt one-sided, especially in the fourth round. It was very one-sided. But I mean, even when they went to the ground, that was my concern going in this fight. It's like, what's Jamahal Hill gonna do? And he gets taken down. He actually stuffed a majority of the takedowns. I think he only got taken down twice, but I have to check the stats. But it was, man, I don't know. He got a buff, dude. Like they updated him, and he was just like, he probably saw that his stats on UFC 4s like, my grapplings are fucking 3.5. Like, I'm gonna show you that's 5 stars.
I saw this joke that he went out and trained with Derek Lewis on wrestling, and he learned how to just get up. And that's exactly what he did. He got out of full mount with that freaking just get up.
Really, it was like an awkward kind of way he got out of it, but it was effective as hell,
Yeah. And that's a big wrestling thing on the way he got out. The wrestlers do that all the time. Back in the day, more commonly, but because today it's just so hard to do that with the way that some of these jiu-jitsu guys are, some of these other wrestlers are when they get full mount. It's not as easy to do that.
Yeah.
But I think he is just the right kind of explosive. And this is one of the things I was saying before. I think Jamahal Hill's one of those guys that has that fast twitch muscle fiber, whatever it's called, and he doesn't look like he has that kind of power, but he does.
Yeah.
And I think when he wants to explode, he can. And he shoved Glover off of him pretty easily.
Yeah, and he was able to get up, man. I mean, I'm sure if you haven't seen it, if you go to ESPN MMA's Instagram, they had a video of them pouring water on his head and just see the blood rushing down. I'm like,
looked pretty cool, actually.
It was cool.
He needs to make that his profile picture.
I would.
Yeah.
Dude,
do it black and white, but then like Sin City with the blood, make it red.
Yeah, but imagine just going out there though. Like you get this fight on a month's notice, and now you're the champion of the first ever Contender Series champ as well.
And you weren't even in talks for a championship at any point, so it's crazy.
People just remember you as a guy knocking out just everybody below you, and then you got your arm dislocated, and now you come out there and then you just look like a fucking world beater.
So I'm really happy for Jamahal Hill. It's great to see the light heavyweight championship back in America. But what was really cool was Glover. They did the post-fight interview, and he said like, "Hey, I saw what y'all did with Brandon Moreno. You're not going to do that with Jamahal Hill. You're going to respect him. I'm going to walk out to make sure that he doesn't get disrespected on his way out. I'm walking with him on his way out." And then he started doing his retirement speech, and they like showed the crowd for like a second. Everybody was gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all didn't even stay for your own people. Like, he's retiring. You didn't even stay for it.
I don't know, man. That's just terrible. I mean, he could just stay for 5 more minutes, man. I didn't like that whenever they panned at the crowd and there was nobody there. I mean, Glover Teixeira is a guy who, when he got into UFC, he was it's right when they introduced the UFC rankings.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah, I saw
was,
that.
I forgot what he was ranked at the time. I think he was ranked number 4 whenever they made the rankings, and he never left the top 10 while he was in the UFC.
He retired as the number 2, and had he won the championship, he would have been champion, and he was champion right before he lost it on his last fight. So it's like, this dude is just, he is a champion, and that's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
And he's been a champion his whole career, basically.
Do you think if the Yuri fight ever comes his way, though, he takes it? Let's say, like,
Glover?
Yeah.
No, I think he's done.
Yeah. He seems done. I don't blame him.
He's even said, like, I'm not going to be one of those guys that says they're going to retire. Or maybe that was Shogun. But they both, I think, are done.
I'm happy with him being
either
done,
way.
though. He is older. And
there's no need to come back.
Yeah, he is older, and he's taking a lot of damage. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, they did a side-by-side of 2012 and then now. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, he looks the same, but his eyes are like so much scar tissue. Yeah. It's crazy.
Maybe he'll get that surgery that Wanderlei Silva got. Yeah. Come out looking real surprised. But yeah, man, that was UFC 283. It was a great card. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a really cool way to start off 2023. We don't have a UFC fight card this weekend, but we do have the one the following weekend. Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. I'm always looking forward to a Derek Lewis fight. Yeah,
hopefully we get to see a really sick knockout.
Yeah, really
slick one.
But yeah, so let us know your thoughts on that, man. Let us know what your favorite fights were. Let us know what your favorite moments were. Our Instagram is @DevAndTheBear. Our YouTube is also actually Dev and the Bear as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the same name everywhere. So let us know your thoughts. Also, February 5th, Miles Banks making his pro debut. If you have UFC Fight Pass, be sure to tune into that. So we'll be there cheering him on.
Yeah, let us know if you want to meet up at the Fury Fights. It's at the Escapade 2001 in Houston.
Let us know if you want to buy me a beer too. That'd be really cool.
That would be so cool if you bought him a beer. I guess me too. Yeah, that'd be cool.
The kindness of your heart, please.
Y'all take care.